Is analog gear worth the time and money? Man, you would think that right now in 2023, as this podcast episode is currently being recorded and filmed, right? You would think that the pro audio community at this point would not even be talking about this no more. But I'm not going to lie. It's very fun to talk about this. Even right now in the pro audio community, we're still fascinated and infatuated with the debate of analog versus digital. But I don't even think that in this conversation, the relevance of that is even a point, right? I don't even think that matters. Rather, you think analog or digital is better for this conversation. The real question is analog gear worth the time and money for you? Let's talk about it. The Board Talk Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. Let's go. Gotta bring it in on some good music, you feel me? Yes, sir.
When I started with this vision, people thought I was a scrub.
Yeah.
Now they show me love, you would
think I was a plug, yeah.
Now I got the keys and I'ma show you what it is.
Yes, sir.
King on this grind, you know I handle my beat.
You know I'm getting to these
blessings, 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 blessings.
I tell them haters hate, but we okay. Hand stacking chips, Frito-Lays, yes sir.
Check the circle.
I tell them zero lanes, squad of fighters, we be the game.
I'm moving fast in my lane, so take a backseat.
I told the coach to put me in just like an athlete.
I'm racing to the band
like sprinters at a track meet.
I'm catching blessings, I can't let them
move past me. What's going on, everybody? My name is Kyren Monteiro. I want to welcome y'all to the Board Talk Podcast, Season 2, Episode number 4. And we're going to call this thing is Analog Gear, worth the time and money. But before we dive in, round of applause for you. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. My brothers and my sisters, I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure, if you want to check out this podcast on all platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, etc., the Board Talk Podcast with Kyren Monteiro is available on there. Season 1 is available. Now we into Season 2. So round of applause, man. For hard work and dedication, you know? And round of applause, man, for good podcast production. Everybody don't take that serious. If you want to check out the high definition videos, head over to the Frequency Canvas YouTube channel, because this podcast, the Board Talk Podcast, is presented by Frequency Canvas. And we just want to say thank y'all for tuning in. So the question that a lot of people still want to know right now, as we speak, is analog gear worth the time and money? Is analog gear worth the time and money? And, you know, ultimately, only you can answer that. As the engineer, producer, artist, musician, only you can answer that. On Season 2, Episode 1, I covered analog summon versus digital summon. So if you want to kind of get some debates going, you know, in your own mind, in your own circle, go back and listen to Episode 1 of Season 2, Analog Summon versus Digital Summon, and you'll kind of get my take on this analog versus digital thing. I kind of talk about it. But I ultimately ended that episode talking about that the best approach, in my opinion, is hybrid. When you use analog and digital together, I think that you get more of a beautiful result versus trying to put them apart. This is 2023. At the time of this, when you're hearing it right now, it was, you know, it's currently 2023. And in modern day recording, mixing and mastering, I don't think the question should be analog versus digital. I think the question should be, how do I use both and bring them together to get the greatest results? And that's what we want to talk about. How do you get the greatest results with them, right? So I think that if you got to choose one phase out of the audio production phase, rather it's the recording, mixing, and mastering phase, I think the best phase is going to be in the recording process. If you can have analog on the front end going going in to your DAW, with your digital audio workstation, aka the software where you're recording and mixing at, I think that the front end is going to be the best. Obviously, it's great to have it in every phase, but if you can choose one, I think the recording end is going to be the greatest benefits. Rather you're just recording a vocal or you're recording a full live blown band, all your vocal end is an instrument. Musical instruments is a live instrument. So no matter what, I think analog on the front end is the best. So here are just some suggestions and some things to think about. These are my suggestions. This is not the law. This is not the end all be all. This is just based off of my professional experience and a lot of other people's, all right? But you do what you want to do. This is just some suggestions for you, and this is my 2 cents, right, on the overall conversation. I think that if you're going to record with analog equipment, I think the best place that you can invest into is going to be a solid analog mic preamp and a solid compressor. Let me say that again. I think a solid microphone preamp and compressor. If you're looking to get some outboard gear in the recording process, you want some analog gear, I think that's going to help you out the best. A solid microphone preamp can change the game. A great microphone preamp can be a game changer in your recording chain. And then you take that on top of a solid compressor like an LA2A, like an 1176. Just two classic compressors that come to mind. It's going to do a lot for you at the end of the day. It's definitely going to do a lot. So I would suggest that if you're going to record with analog equipment, get you a solid preamp, get you a solid compressor of your choice. And I think that that's going to do a lot for you. EQs, I don't know if you need an outboard equalizer. I don't know, like, for recording. I think that you can leave that in mixing. I mean, it is great, but I think that a solid preamp and I think a solid compressor will do a lot more justice for you in the long run, and kind of leave some of those decisions in the mixing phase, to kind of go in and get a nice touch of that analog depth and color and glue and space and all of that on the way in. Then, further decisions can be made in mixing. Just my suggestion. If you are wanting to use analog gear in mixing, just like in episode 1, I recommend that people get analog summon. I think, once again, analog summon provides more space, depth, width, color, and headroom. I just think it opens up a new world for anybody that's mixing records. So I think that analog summon is going to be very valuable in the mixing process. I also think that outboard processing, and I also think that outboard processing like stereo bus compression, stereo bus EQ, that's going to be great. You know what I mean? And if you couple that with analog summon and you got a solid bus compressor, you got a solid, EQ on your master bus, that's going to go so far. Now, if you have pieces of gear like an EQ or a compressor that you can run a kick through, a vocal through, a snare through, a bass guitar, lead guitar through, are those things valuable? For sure. Definitely they are valuable, but I think you're going to get more value from analog summon and master bus processing because it's going to have an impact and sonic effect on everything at one time, right? Then in mastering, which typically you're just dealing with a stereo file. Obviously, man, you can have just one solid compressor, one solid EQ, and you will be amazed at the work that you can get done in mastering because digital is so great these days. So even if you're building up a mastering studio, you don't need 5 to 6 different compressors, 5 to 6 different EQs, and just like you can literally have a simplistic setup and go a long way. I know there's probably some people listening to this right now that's going to not like that, but the truth of the matter is that digital is so great. You can go a long way with a few pieces, man. So this is just my 2 cents on this analog gear worth the time and money. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely it is. But you have to make sure that it's worth it for you. You have to make sure that it's worth it for you and your clients. Hand clap, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. I know that this is some techie, nerdy stuff. Not the most exciting stuff to sit through unless you really love it. But check, man. But trust me, this is important, man. So we're going to go out on some bangers today, man. Yes, sir.
When I started with this vision, people thought I was a scrub. Now they show me love, you would think I was the plug.
Yeah.
Now I got the keys and I'ma show you what it is. King on this grind, you know I handle my beat. You know I'm getting
yes, sir.
Blessings, 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 blessings.
Blessings, man. Board Talk Podcast, Season 2, Episode 4. Is analog gear worth the time and money? It absolutely is, man. All right, man. Blessings to y'all.